uh, 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 uh.
And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. Catch the latest show today covering NFL Week 7 right there at Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. Also, as well, Joe Soros here. He and I were having a nice little conversation all game long on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. I guess that's one way to say it. But he is Oxide247 at LakersBall.com. And also, he owns a great company. All of our arguments aside, you better go take a look. If you need a new lawn today and you live in the Southern California area, there is no better place to go than Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Plus, Joe's new game, Corrupt, will be corrupt pretty soon. Go ahead and wish list it on Steam. That's COREUPT on Steam. Also, as well, Lakerholics crew, Lakerholics.com. I think I'm going to go ahead and schedule a Lakerholics spotlight. I guess I've been asked to host it again. So I will do so tomorrow at noon with Laker Tom and Michael Heinrich. So go ahead and check it out tomorrow from the guys at Lakerholics.com. Also, well, John Costa's here. That's right. Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. He was just talking a whole bunch of Lakers Corner social media. So go ahead and follow him wherever. Lakers Corner, Clutch Talk, and also like and subscribe to his stuff on YouTube. In fact, if you're watching, hello, Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner as well. Of course, Empire Jeff TV covering the Dodgers and the Lakers. Of course, Lakers in 5. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, also as well, John McCalian channel. All these great channels. Please like and subscribe, but make sure. Oh, that's just gross. You. Do you really have to make that face, Joe? Yeah, he's saying yeah. Okay. All right. Well, just please like and subscribe. Anyways, despite his ugly face, to go ahead and make sure you get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. A couple quick notes. We have just started an ESPN Fantasy Basketball League. I'll have that in the description if you want to be part of it. Our draft is Monday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
I want to do it.
Also, you're going to do it?
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
going to do that with you guys. You guys
All right.
need to do that.
I'll drop the link again in the description here in just a second. And then also
All
as
right.
well, make sure you become a member today. $2.99 a month. It gets you some inside stuff, including our season predictions. I'll try to drop one here during the course of the post game. And also as well, it gets you some inside stuff that doesn't happen anywhere else, but right here at the Lakers Fast Break. And it's just $2.99 a month as well. Well, the Lakers and the Warriors finished off their preseason. One took it semi-seriously. One took it not seriously at all, as the Lakers showed up with no Bron, no AD, no Rui, no AR, no D-Lo, no Connect, and no Max Christie. Means no chance for the Lakers to even be close, as they got destroyed. They put out a starting lineup tonight of Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Quincy Olivari, Bronny James, and Jalen Hood-Schifino. And it was a disaster from the start. They were down 36-18 at the end of the first quarter, and it just got worse from there. And somehow we all managed to just stay around and watch this disaster as the Golden State Warriors at the Chase Center dusted off the Lakers in very easy fashion, 132-74. And here today to discuss are my two esteemed colleagues in crime indeed. It is first up, first man here. What's up, Serge? Best mod out there. It is, of course,
Facts.
the man behind Simblades with a Y.com, and of course, Oxide247 at LakersBall.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, great to have you here. He has a devilish smile. Dodgers will win on Sunday. Are you going to guarantee it that the Dodgers will win on Sunday?
I guarantee they'll win 6.
Okay. I believe you. I believe you. So with that, my friend, I want to just ask you this. is there anything positive you can take away from the game? I mean, the only player who really did well, okay, if you want to say Bronny too, that's up to you, but there's a lot of other things besides scoring. He didn't do well, but okay, it is what it is. Quincy Olivari, there's still a question on whether or not he might even make the team. Outside of that, it was a lost cause for the Lakers tonight.
The positiveness is you've got a definite on a lot of players. That's probably the most positive. Colin Castleton is officially a dud. Maxwell Lewis is officially a dud. Jalen Hood-Schifino is massively a dud. Olivari is, we talked about this, Demoy, he's the Demoy Hodge of this season's preseason. It's not likely to translate to regular NBA basketball. And then Junior did what he did. Cool. Good for him. Get a little positiveness before the season ends for him here. And then as far as everybody else, I just don't know what Cam Reddish is going to do, to be honest with you. I think if I had to pick, the most embarrassing one was probably him. He's actually played in the NBA and actually done some things. He looked like he was disinterested. He looked like he wanted a career change. He looked like he never wanted to play basketball. I think the Lakers should do him a favor and just say, look, dude, you don't really want to do this, do you? I don't care how desperate they are. There's no point if you're not going to be focused and ready to do things. If you're going to say that he did it because it's just a preseason game, all the reason why to get him off the team as well. This is the time when you're struggling, or this is the time when you're not doing well, where you're supposed to hone in on your skills. And if you're not going to do that, then you're not going to do it when it matters. It's just plain. It's simple. Tuesday, the Lakers can't use any more excuses. I guess they could. They could say, well, JJ Redick's new and it's the beginning of the year. But we will monitor it here for about a month or two and see what's up. And, yeah, to be continued.
Turd War, Bronny is already making the team. He has a 3-year guaranteed contract, so he cannot not make the team.
I think we all know why he's on the team right now.
He said he'll develop into a two-way player. Y'all watch.
Yeah, and I'll develop into the president of the United States.
Okay. Saying, hold on, that's tough. Saying he's going to develop into a two-way player is like saying he's going to go from a player who's essentially not even an NBA level talent player to a desirable player for every team in the league. Because that's what our teams want. They want two-way players. So that's a tough take, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you.
What IV says Cam is going to be at the end of the rotation, put in to guard someone till Vando is back again, like a situational defender. Joe, any thoughts on that before I turn it over to John?
When Vando comes back, the theme of the last 2 seasons, when Vando comes back, I have 2 words: good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
805 says Olivari is the only one that looked like he belonged on an NBA court. Everyone else can go. The thing is, Olivari is the one that very well might be going because they don't have
not either, guys. He's not NBA worthy. He's too small. I use THT as an example because he's got a similar body structure, except he doesn't have long limbs like THT. The NBA 82 is a completely different beast. It is a battle of focus, attrition, mental, physical, all those things. It takes a freak of nature to be able to go through an NBA season and do the things that they need to do to be valuable to their team. And the moment you skew off that, it becomes very, very difficult for that player. Almost every player on this team, other than the top, let's say 6, is still thinking too much on the court. Max Christie is still thinking after 3 years. If you're thinking on the court in your 3rd year, That's bad news. Jackson Hayes, he's trying his butt off. I liked, and that's probably the most positive thing I've seen in this preseason, which doesn't say much. I liked Jackson Hayes' positioning under the basket for rebounds this preseason. He looked like he was Rodmaning it. Rodman, as in Dennis Rodman. What made Rodman probably the greatest, I should say greatest rebounder, but the most instinctful rebounder is he knew how to hear the bounce off the rim, the backboard, and stand in the right place so he has his best chance to get the rebound. And Jackson Hayes showed a little bit of that in the preseason. They're going to need that because if they're going to spread Anthony Davis out, somebody's going to need to be down there to get rebounds. Otherwise, no one's going to get rebounds. That's the stuff I'm going to be looking for. I want to see how long that can sustain itself. The problem, though, is if you're going to play Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis together a lot, that means Jackson Hayes is going to have to play 30 minutes a game because you still need Jackson Hayes to back up Anthony Davis when he sits down. Unless you have an idea of a backup center that we don't know about. I don't know. Do you guys have an idea? Are they going to shift LeBron to the 5? Certain instances. Rui, maybe.
Not many options. There's not many options at all.
No. Are they going to play Castleton? Castleton, unfortunately, has regressed, much like how John mentioned it, and some others on the line, on the chat room. Yeah, he's regressed greatly because I saw some potential. I saw some room in there, but unfortunately, it looks like he's tapping out.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 132-74 to the Warriors. Also here today, good man indeed. He is the mastermind behind not one but two great channels on YouTube you need to support today. Clutch Talk and Lakers Corner. It is John Costa. John, great to have you here. I know your schedule's always tight and you not always be able to make the games, whatnot, but finally had a chance to come and sit down, relax, watch the game with us, and you got this trash instead.
This was tough. This was tough. Not gonna lie. This was one of those games where you're just like, I was watching these guys in utter disbelief. Like I texted one of my friends and I was like, I don't think I've seen a team get smacked on this bad in a long time. Like forget the score. Forget the score. I'm talking just like they were out there taking practice jumpers and we had like Bronny and all our players like trying their hardest, their absolute hardest, and I give credit as basketball players, but we all know that NBA level is different. But to talk, I mean, there's not much to talk about on the game. I think Joe talked about it all. Talked about Hayes' great work on the offensive glass or whatnot. But the two things that I wanted to talk about, one, Gerald and Joe touched on a bit. Oliveri, I think he just looked good out there. It's probably one of the most positive notes that we had out there. But also, JJ Redick, elite clipboard work, elite X's and O's. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these, especially with these bad players that we had out there, go back and watch. Like I was. That's what I was paying attention to because these guys are not good. They cannot create shots on their own. So how are they gonna look to get shots? How are they gonna look to get open? And JJ was drawing them up, getting them easy buckets, getting them going. But I mean, essentially, guys, we were down 18. What was it? 18-34. 1 minute to go in the first. It was over quick. But shit, happy to be here, everybody. I'm trying to get this camera selected here, but it's not freaking selecting my Mac camera, not my.
Joe says you're a little soft on the mic, but just wanted to let you know. I think you're not okay, but I think we'll get you through one.
Yeah, all right. I don't know about that picture either.
The what?
He's just messing with you. At this point, he's just messing with you now. Joe, yeah, like you said, you can't take much away from this game. The Lakers had their scrubs in there. Some of these guys won't be giving you any type of contribution. Jay, Jess, Bronny, also as well, Maxwell Lewis. Those guys, absolutely terrible. And those guys, you cannot count on them at all this season. let's take a look at the preseason. Your thoughts overall on the preseason. I mean, a lot of things you've said complimentary about JJ, his motion offense, the way he's having the ball move around, giving the opportunity to the shooters. Your thoughts on the preseason as a whole. If you want to discount tonight, you're more than welcome to do so.
Yeah. Oh, me or Joe?
Joe. Yeah, I'll start with
Okay.
Joe first.
The NBA has turned into a fast-paced, no thinking, get as many shots as possible league. And shooters now are making more shots, they're more skilled than they likely have ever been in terms of the shooting ability. As far as fundamentals and dominating and scoring a lot of points, maybe not so much, but except for the really top tier players, it's kind of like baseball in that you don't need a 30-point score anymore to dominate in a lot of ways or be effective. Like in baseball, where you don't need to bat 300 to be a good hitter. You can bat 220 and still be a dangerous player. This roster is not due to the rules. It's just not. It's not conducive to a 82 game and then 4 months of playoff setup. They could get through 82 if the playoffs were only a couple rounds, but you have 4 rounds, and there's just not enough depth. There's not enough youth in the right spots. So youth as in LeBron, youth as in Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis is 25 and LeBron's 25, we're probably not worried as much because those guys are going to be playing 40, 42 minutes. And then you just need a couple guys to come through each game, kind of do a little carousel thing there, and those guys will do their thing. And then when it gets into the playoffs, the rotations already shrink, usually to 6, maybe 7. And then that's okay too. But this is not a team that has that. They have a 40-year-old, soon to be 40-year-old star. Anthony Davis has a lot of miles on him, even though he's still somewhat in his prime. And then you have starters on the team that are the jury's still out on how effective they're going to be this year. Rui, D'Angelo, and Austin Reeves. Effectiveness in that, are they going to take a little bit of a head up so that they can cover some ground for the deficiencies off the bench? And maybe Connect can merge some of that too, but he's still a rookie. I have a pretty good feeling that Max Christie's not going to be the guy. And then, of course, there's been 3 draft picks that they've kept that have absolutely hindered any chance of this team having any youth helping them. So 4 draft picks, only 1 is going to come out of that in 2 years on a team that had no margin of error in the areas where they had a choice in picking talent. And I want you all to focus on that. Focus on that very well. You had 2 chances each year, the last 2 years, to enhance this team. And you failed 3 out of the 4 times. And you couldn't afford to fail 3 out of 4 times. Maybe 1 of those, but you needed 3 because you've mismanaged your acquisitions. You've mismanaged your money. All on the false pretenses of, oh, well, things have changed. No, things haven't changed if you know what you're doing. If you don't believe me, you can go ahead and look at Boston and Denver and Oklahoma City. And why is it that they're able to improve their teams even though they seem to be pretty stacked? You're not even stacked and you can't improve it. You've also had bad relations, it seems, in the league where no one is trying to help you either. That's on you, Mr. Pelinka. That's not on anybody else. So my first wish is whatever this circus that's going to start on Tuesday, I hope it's short. When I was a kid, I didn't like circus. I didn't like the circus, let alone as an adult. So get your pictures, get your selfies, Get your Instagram and Facebook and Snapchats and TikToks. Get that get all that shit done, and start focusing on winning. Because there's really only 7 players on this team that are likely going to have value on this team at this moment. That's it. Jackson Hayes, Connect, and the starting 5. And you all know who that is.
John, let me bring it over to you, my friend. I know we often get accused of being haters, being downers. You guys are, I mean, Rodell and others are always, in the comments or in emails, I always say you guys are always down on the Lakers, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Okay, well, we want to see something different. We want to be proven wrong. We want the Lakers to succeed. Yet we see stuff like this from the guys who will take up the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th men, and it's not even close. And that tells you just how bad the depth is. If we start going on, if we have any type of injury bug on the Lakers during the season, are we screwed?
Gerald. Oh, I had to unmute myself. We both unmuted at the same time. But absolutely, Gerald. We are being, what's okay, hold on. I want to get to that first, but I want to get to that second. Remy, I'm going to get to that, but hold on. Gerald, we have Anthony Davis, right, who's a very injury-prone player who, yes, he played a lot of games last season, played, I think, one of the most he played in his career last season, which is great or whatnot. But, that doesn't take away from the last, 9 years prior to that when he was extremely injury-prone. And I hope he's not injury-prone this year, but I think that still just 1 year doesn't make him not an injury-prone player anymore. And we have, no real, reliable starting option backup big, or even a half decent, in my opinion. I know you guys may talk about Hayes, but I'm talking about starting and being able to, give us some positive out there. Hayes can do us some positive off the bench, but starting that's a whole different ballgame we're talking about here. But essentially, I say that to say, Gerald, yes, we are screwed if any injury happens, and that's scary because we have a 40-year-old LeBron James and an injury-prone Anthony Davis, and I mean,
we can't even. I mean, all we've seen is cut this guy, cut that guy, cut this guy in the chat. We can't even do that because Rob has managed the payroll so bad. We're right up against that second tax apron by what, $20,000 or some small amount that you just can't not maneuver around. So we can't even do that because we can't even. Let's say Quincy Olivari, want to pick him up and make him a player, an actual contracted player on this team. We can't do that unless it's a two-way. You can't give him a guaranteed contract as a full-time guaranteed contract because you'll have to cut one of these other guys. And the problem is you'll go into the second tax apron because of it. So it's just a problem. It's a mess. We have basically, Rob has just gotten himself into this mess. And Joe, while John fixes are you with us, John?
Yeah, I'm trying to put it on this one because my AirPods.
Okay, no worries, man. Just you fix that, and then we'll have you get to your second point on that. But Joe, that's the depressing part about what's going on is the fact that we just cannot make changes unless we give up draft choices in order to do so, Joe.
Oh, that's not enough either. The player that you're going to get is going to require matching contracts.
Or even if it's just moving off of a salary, like a Cam Reddish or, whoever, JHS, whatever, you have to give up picks alongside of that.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to move the Cam Reddish for picks. The Lakers have nothing. They would need the other team to almost purposely lose in the trade to give the Lakers what they want. All we're hearing right now is Jeremy Grant and Zach LaVine, who are the two popular trade scenarios. All we hear is Chicago and Portland want a pick for those guys. If that's actually true, there's -0 chance that the Lakers have any chance of getting those guys on the team. Whether they would make a difference, who knows? And then when you look around what's available that might be available around the NBA, what else would make a difference? The Lakers are likely to finish the season with this team, maybe with one kind of sort of lucky trade for a big. That's about it. As far as a real bona fide third guy to make one more run here with AD and LeBron, zero chance. It just there's not enough resource for them to go get it.
John, touching
Yes,
on
I'm
the
back.
second subject,
Yes.
you wanted to
Remy.
mention that I think Remy's comment on fire
Yes.
JJ Redick. Your thoughts
I'm
on that?
I'm gonna be honest, guys. Please, please, for the life of me, it's gonna low-key frustrate me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, let's stop talking about fire JJ Redick in the preseason. Like, let's stop talking about fire JJ Redick in the preseason. Like, it is way too early to be talking about fire JJ Redick, especially like Joe. Can you please bless these people's ears and wisdom with your analogy you gave earlier on JJ Redick, which I think was a great analogy.
So JJ Redick, even though he's had some chode moments where he's disrespected eras of basketball, JJ Redick has some knowledge and good X's and O's. So the analogy I used or the comparison I used was JJ Redick is an up and coming, a possible up and coming chef who's brought his weapons, which is his knives and his pots and his pans, to be the chef that everyone would like him to be, successful one. The only problem is his ingredients are not good.
Boom.
So no matter how well he conducts a kitchen, how well his tools are in terms of his knowledge, his ability to extend his tools to the task at hand. If the chicken is not good, if the meat isn't fresh, if the seasoning isn't gonna, work, it doesn't matter. The food's gonna taste terrible.
There you go.
So now what you have is you're gonna have to be a restaurant. I'm gonna go even deeper on this for you, Johnny. You got a restaurant now that has to master a couple of meals, and you have to depend on those few meals for people to keep coming in. Now, there are some restaurants that have been able to do that. Let's look at Red Lobster for the longest time. What was their thing? The endless shrimp.
Yep.
The biscuits.
Love those biscuits.
Those biscuits are the greatest food. That's probably one of the greatest foods that's ever been made. When you look at the comparisons, you can say that the biscuits on this team is LeBron, and you can say that the endless shrimp is AD, or vice versa, however you look at it. Can these guys carry that restaurant?
Not when you charge it at $20, Joe. That's what put them in.
So now there you go. So now you start mixing in the times, right? So the times, it was easy when you were charging $12.99 and you were paying people $8 an hour. Now you're paying guys $20 an hour, and the economy sucks. And you see where I'm going with it. It's not likely that you're going to be able to sustain an audience that's going to eat that food with these two only on the menu, or at least the ones that are popular. It could happen. I have eaten bread and shrimp, or bread and like smaller cheeses and salami and all that. A lot of times I'm like a grazer sometimes. I actually prefer to graze because I don't get as full. But the reality is, when people want, you're going to need more. You're going to need more than just the appetizer type stuff. And the only way the Lakers win this year is LeBron and AD have to be so out of this world good at the end of the year, after 82 plus games, And apparently, if they don't play Denver, because that seems to be their kryptonite, and then run the table. That's the only way. But that hasn't worked the last 3 years. 1, they didn't make the playoffs. 2, they barely made the playoffs. They've won. They have won, and I want you guys to focus on this. They have won in the last 4 seasons 3 playoff games. 3 playoff games.
Bad matchup, though.
So at what point are you all going to stop initially thinking that things are positive and negative? This isn't a math class, right? We're not doing electricity here. This is what they've presented, and you all need to start getting into reality. I know we have video games. I know we have Instacrap and all these filters that all these bitches online do. Get rid of that shit out of your head, because you get manipulated by that stuff. These people look completely different in real life, by the way. Completely. You know how I know? I sell artificial turf as a secondary business. Their picture on Facebook. Facebook is really big for my sales. I built a community there. When I go see these people in real life and compared to their profile pic, I don't even recognize them. Stop living in a fake world. I need you all to get real here. I can see we have big numbers tonight, pretty big for a preseason game. Some of you are new. I can see some new names. I want you guys to understand something here. We are not getting paid by anyone to tell us what to do. We are not
Or what to say.
Huh?
Or what to say.
Or what to say. And we don't have bad lives where we're upset with ourselves and we come out here and vent.
Only when we're on playback.
My life, and I'm sure Gerald's life, and I'm sure John's life is very, very nice from what I've seen. We're not here to wax poetic anything that is not worthy of it. We're telling you right now, the way this has been constructed, by what we've seen, that this is going to be a catastrophe. Because that's what's there. We know basketball. We watch it, and we study it, and we talk about it, and it's what we do. And if you see the shows from a year ago, if you see the shows from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you'll probably see a different response around this year than this year.
Some of us were predicting the Lakers to win the West.
Last year?
Where did that go wrong?
There was more of a hopeful thinking there on my part. I don't know necessarily if I had a direct line to that, but I was feeling pretty good in that, well, Rob Pelinka did his job. He signed everyone. Everyone should be motivated now. They all got paid. Vando got paid. Anthony Davis got his extension. Obviously, LeBron got another year contract, a 2-year contract with an option. He signed Austin Reeves at the time. He signed Rui. Everyone got paid. So why now you guys got paid? He took care of you. Now it's time to take care of the team. But we didn't get that. We didn't get that. We got an injured MLE player. We got 2 massive bombs in the draft. Vando was barely alive. Reddish was a disaster. Christian Wood had his moments, completely broke down. Austin Reeves improved a little bit towards the end of the year. D'Angelo improved after 2 months, when we really needed him for the whole year. Rui was probably the most consistent role player throughout the year. I didn't see too many ebbs and flows in his game. And then, of course, you had the luck of all luck. You had AD and LeBron not have one major injury the whole year, and you still couldn't do what you needed to do. And what did you do? What did you do after that? What did you learn from that? What we've seen from the end of the season until now is they have learned precisely, Dick. Connect fell in their arms. Thank God they were smart enough to do something good there. but they almost equally jacked it by picking a player at 55 when you desperately need talent on this team so that you could appease a circus and their clowns and the audience. And what was that for? So that we can watch a preseason game, so that we can watch this circus lose by almost 60 points. I know it's preseason, but Jesus Christ, almost 60 points? What the hell are you doing over there? Where's your balls? Where's your pride? Play up. I mean, 60s. Come on, really? So we're gonna observe here. We're gonna see what's going on. Lakers have a favorable spread in this first week or so. I hope they don't start 0-4 because they're 4 good teams.
John, let me bring it back to you. And once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose in the final game of the preseason, 132-74. They do go 2-4 in the preseason, whereas the Warriors went undefeated. I want to ask you this. Again, I don't know how much you're going to take away from tonight. Again, those are some of the guys that are supposed to be
awesome.
Thank you, Bloodhound. Truly appreciate it. Your mileage may vary. I mean, when Doobie and I are arguing who is worse, JHS, Bronny, and Maxwell Lewis, although we kind of came to an agreement on Maxwell Lewis. I think we both agree that Maxwell Lewis was probably the worst of the three so far. It's just disappointing because these are the young guys that are supposed to be developing along with Max Christie and Dalton Connect. These are the young guys that are supposed to be your future and the foundation that you set for it. That's not a good foundation to have, John. It's just not a good foundation to have. It's very disappointing. Although $7,000 has ordered his Bronny jersey, he just told us, and he's speaking the praise of Bronny James right now. So if you believe that, and if you believe the Lakers are going to win 55 to 60 games, I hope you're right, Seven. Joe hopes you're right. But you know what he thinks about hope. John hopes you're right. But there's no one. I'm going to give people a little bit of insight. Now, I'm going to post John's season predictions here for members here in a second, but I'm going to give you guys a little clue. Nobody on the panelists, even Laker Tom, who we all know takes a little bit of that incense, purple and gold, a little bit too much sometimes. Even he doesn't have the Lakers that high. But okay, I'll say it one more time, John. Your thoughts, my friend, when you're seeing a game like tonight with those guys being part of the foundation moving forward.
Man, I'm lost for words. I'm hopeless. I'm genuinely hopeless. Like, I mean, don't know what really I could say besides what that we've all said. Like, literally, no one on this team I have hope for young besides Quincy, and that's like, man, that's a shot in the dark. Like, that is a shot in the dark.
And we may end up losing Quincy. That's the problem.
Exactly right. And you know what's crazy too? And what's crazy is like, during the playback, which if you guys don't ever go check out playback, come check out playback. We have a great time over there talking about the game and getting into it or whatnot. But what's crazy, we were talking about Colin Castleton, right? And like, shout out, Joe and Henry, because this is why it's good. I want to go on a little bit of a rant here, a little bit of a tangent here with you guys. This is why it's good to have a group of people around you that are like people who are like-minded in you, people that are smarter than you, people that challenge you, right? Because you know what? Like, I am big on Colin Cowson because like I went to go summer league when it was his like rookie year, and I saw him play, and he did solid at summer league, and granted, like he hasn't translated into the player that I want him to be and the potential he has to be. Is like I was talking on playback, like he can really be a really good prototypical big, like in today's league. He needs to get in the weight room, but he has that midi. He can stretch the floor. He's not an island defender where you put him on the island, it's wraps for him. So I liked him a lot, right? And I still do think he has a lot of potential. But a great point that Joe and Henry brought up is like, man, like he hasn't gotten any better since his rookie year, and I absolutely agree. So like, these are the things that like you when you got a group around you, you see like, all right, you know what? It's a great point. Challenge me to think in a different way. So shout out Henry and Joe for that, and everybody around here. But I said I to say Quincy is my literal only hope. It's a shot in the dark because shit, I do think that Colin Castleton has potential, but until he gets bigger, like we're not going nowhere with this in the actual NBA to where it's gonna help us get to where we're trying to get to. But hey, man, to answer your question, Gerald, there's no hope, no hope. And yeah, it's all good, Henry. Shout out my dog.
Well, again, with Castleton, he is pretty much a finished product, though, at his stage because he is, 25? I think I quoted him as, yeah, he is already in his mid-20s. So I don't know how much more, like Austin Reeves, now that they're in their mid-20s, how much more is their game going to develop? So we'll see. Same thing for Dalton. Dalton Connect did such a great job last night, Joe. Yes, he is a rookie. He'll develop a little more, but he is also an older rookie. So the thing I wanted to say with Dalton, a lot of people have hope for Dalton. He is going to have his up and downs. Right. He is a rookie. He's going to have his good days, his not so good days, but his highs, the future that we have for him could be very bright, Joe. Could be very bright after what we saw last night.
He'd be a role player on a title team that would be greatly valued. I don't know if he'll become a all-star. Very well could become that. That will depend on his work ethic. He has the tools. He does have the tools. We've had some comps on him. We talked about it during playback. Bogdanovich is the one that comes to mind because of the frame. Frame is almost identical. But then I started thinking, if this guy fulfills his full potential, he might be better. He could be a 20-point scorer with his shot. Bogdanovich has never been that guy. He's always kind of hovered around 15, 16 a game. Then I start thinking, okay, is there a possibility this guy could be better? Could he be, someone said Allen Houston. I initially thought, that's interesting, but I don't think so. I don't think he'll be as good as Allen Houston. Allen Houston was a borderline just star.
Yeah, 24, 25 a game, if I remember correctly.
And I say borderline star as in my idea of a star is the perennial all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just a level below in his prime. But it's irrelevant at this point. It's really not about, well, is this guy going to be good enough? It's the question now is he going to be good enough is he going to be good enough in time for this team to matter that he's good enough? Probably not. Unless there's a massive change that happens within the next year or two that allows a in his prime player to come and be able to compete for championships. I don't know who that player would be. And drafting stars, it's extremely difficult because you have to really be bad before you can get lucky in the lottery and get the player you need. And lately, the first overall picks have been a crapshoot. Wembanyama's a star, Zion isn't. Karl Anthony Towns is sort of a star. Anthony Bennett is a complete bust. You have Ben Simmons, who was supposed to be a star, showed a little bit that he was complete and utter uselessness. And you're going back and forth. Cade Cunningham, not a star at all. So even if you do get lucky, you get the first overall pick. You all right there, Johnny?
Joe.
What?
Goodness gracious, the stain on Cade Cunningham's name. He's not a star yet, but you don't see it in him?
Nope.
Wow. Do you watch a lot of Pistons?
No, but I've seen enough. I don't see what the special thing about him.
Watching a lot of Pistons lately. Well, John, let me say this. Watching a lot of Pistons basketball in the recent years has not been a very good watch. I know Cade Cunningham, again, through injuries and just not being able to develop in some people's eyes fast enough for their tastes. And I think Joe's is one of them. And I can't say I would argue with them on that. Cade has to step it up this year. They've got more talent on that roster this year. If he doesn't, John, then
Hold on. Ralph's my dog. Ralph hit it on the head, bro. Cade has no help. Listen, Cade is the type of player that Cade is good, but Cade is not your guy that is just gonna say, you know what, get on my back. I'm taking you out to the promised land. Cade is Alonzo Ball. He is great. He can literally change in offense, like the way he can help players just become so much better because of the type of player he is. He helps players around him get so much better. But these players around him suck. Yeah, Paulo Banchero, I would take Paulo over Cade every day out of the week. But I think everybody would. But yeah, no, I just wanted to say that. Like, he's not a star right now, but Cade's got potential, Joe. That's all I'm saying. But I'm sorry.
Adam, we do not have plenty of roster space. We would have to actually get rid of one of the two ways. If you waive a contracted player, you cannot pick up another player without going into the second tax apron. So we do not have plenty of roster space for Olivari. We have to most likely cut a two-way player if we want to keep Olivari, which I would prefer to put on.
What happened, Joe?
Mark made me laugh calling Joel and being a wanker.
Hey, Xbox, I can't deal with that. Yeah, Ben is a disgrace. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Don't let me go on my Ben Simmons rant. I have a Ben Simmons rant, an entire rant. I cannot stand that guy.
Adam, if he doesn't get healthy, if they don't find out something soon going on with Koloko, they may need to drop him and pick up Olivari. There you go. So, John,
I'm sorry, folks, but when you're a first overall pick, look at Banchero. You know, he's got his team probably one more player away from being a problem in the East. Cade, I know he's in Siberia right now in Detroit, but first overall picks need to be still the you-know-whats.
I get you. That's a good point.
I wish he would be better, but he's not. It's not a NBA basketball is getting more and more difficult to gauge talent because there's so much other crap that's tied to it. And even if you do get that talent, if the circumstances are not right, you're sitting there going, oh, okay, well, this isn't working, that isn't working. And the Lakers have had that issue. They had it for 3 years until they finally had to go do what they usually do when they want to win, and that's go get somebody else. The Lakers got D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, and drawing a blank.
Brandon
Ingram. And they hit on a couple of good picks in the second round too.
They did.
Oh, don't forget about Josh Hart late in the first too. That was pretty
good. They were really good picking
Kuzma.
Yeah, they were really good at picking guys.
What a great take.
Imagine if they were able to pick Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown instead of those two.
Question, Joe. I always talk about this with my brother. My brothers to this day said that we should have went with Jason Tatum, but we went with Lonzo Ball because we needed a point guard. Would you have gone with Jason Tatum?
I didn't know enough about Jason Tatum to make that call.
That's an honest man. 9 times out of 10 people would lie and say, yeah, I'd go with Jason Tatum.
And I know that plays a factor in things. Everything is always 20/20. But it's your job to know this. I sort of felt something about Lonzo Ball that I didn't like. His dad had something to do with it. I didn't like his aloofness. That doesn't usually drive, especially as a point guard, that doesn't drive leadership on a team. you look at point guards usually that are great. They're usually they kind of inspire. There's different levels of it. Let's say Steve Nash, he wasn't demonstrative like Chris Paul, but he was extremely riveting in terms of just his personality. If you've been around him, he keeps people kind of up. He's a very positive guy, and he's a jokester, and he people want to play for him. People want to make him happy. Players, as that is. Chris Paul was a little more demanding, and Lakers and the NBA lost a chance to really see who he really could have been had the trade gone through to LA or the Lakers. And then you look at point guards like Steph Curry, even though I don't really consider him a true point guard, he's more of he almost created his own position. He's the point scorer. The most important thing, I think, besides the shooting part of Steph Curry, is the fact that he never had an ego against anything. Not his boy Clay, not his buddy Draymond, not when Durant came. And that never gets talked about enough in terms of how well Steph Curry is as a egoless leader with out of this world talent. There's a lot of stuff there, guys. So it's a potluck of things. Lakers made things easy for themselves the last 70 years because they were either able to hit on the draft early on when the draft wasn't as complicated, and then even after that, they still were able to maintain getting picks that weren't conventional and that turned out to be something, i.e. Kobe Bryant, Derek Fisher, and then, of course, acquiring guys like Shaq and Pau Gasol and LeBron, and then, of course, Anthony Davis was the last big one. Now the system is saying we have, since 1998, when Jordan retired, the system has been trying to get to a point, not specifically to end any chance of the Lakers to improve, like specifically to the Lakers, but to end what the Lakers have made so valuable to them. They've ended that. The league has finally ended it. It's been a long road. David Stern had 2 collective bargaining agreements during those lockouts to try and limit the Lakers from kind of just getting whatever they want, because you had hypocrite assholes like Mark Cuban and that dipshit in Cleveland, Dan Gilbert, whining and crying about why they're not good enough to get players, and the Lakers are. So here we are. And apparently Jeannie did not adjust. Dr. Buss used to adjust. Dr. Buss used to say, don't worry, we'll figure out a way. And there was no figuring out here the last few years. It's too much thinking for Dr. Buss was a borderline genius. I'm not saying that to be condescending or patronizing. He really was. The man was very smart, and he understood people, and he understood how things worked, and he knew how to have that kind of positivity that everybody seems to love and turn it into something good. This team the offspring is not as good as the mainstream. And then you have leadership on this team that are either not equipped to do the job or are so self-indulged and self-absorbed that they can't see past their own little world. And you all know who that is. It's at the cost of the Lakers. Because even they know that there's no chance that they're going to do anything this year. So now they're saying, look, let's have some fun this year then. at the expense of the Lakers, at the expense of us, because we're the dipshits still watching it.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose. Let me see the score one last time. 132-74. They end the preseason with 2-4 record. Warriors end their preseason with a 6-0 record. John, before we head on out, you give that magical plug, and I let Joe go ahead and talk a little bit more as well. Want to hear your thoughts on the preseason. I mean, opening day is just around the corner. Do you have any thoughts on how the preseason went in your mind? Let's just throw this out, unless you want to talk about Bronny or you want to talk about JHS, you want to talk about Olivari. It's up to you, but what were your thoughts and impressions on the preseason as we head into opening night on Tuesday night?
To be honest with you, I never, I'm throughout my whole basketball watching life, I've never been big on preseason because I just felt like you're just usually trying out things and you're just trying out shit that you wouldn't try in the regular season. So I've never been really keen to watching that. So the last 2 years or the last couple of years that I've actually been even locked into preseason. And the thing that I got from our preseason is we're fucked. I mean, we're screwed. I'm gonna be honest with you because I saw that we're relying on a Max Christie who's not an NBA level talent player to come off that bench. That's something we're actually going to rely on. We're relying on a 40-year-old LeBron James to stay healthy. We're relying on a AD to stay healthy. And hey, like I say, man, don't say you could think I got the purple and shade glasses on, say whatever, but LeBron and AD out there, I feel good about any matchup. But we just need. Yeah, see, Search and Destroy said it right there. We need a big, a big trade. Yes, and God's help. Yes, I agree. We do need a big trade and God's. I still do agree with Search, but I thought Search was saying we need a trade. We need to somehow get a big because that's what we do need. But, hey man, season's right around the corner. I absolutely love our Laker community we have here, so I'll still be here, win or lost. Thank God we don't freaking watch soccer and it's not a draw. Don't know how in the world that is even a thing. How do you go into a game and then leave and say, "Oh yeah, we tied"? What? It doesn't make sense. So it's not win, loss, or draw. So just win or lose. I'll be here, and
I'll be there.
Hey, okay, Joe. I don't know you can sing. Okay.
It's the first thing that came to my mind when he said that.
I love it. Don't you know, baby?
See, you know. I knew you'd know. That's why I said it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, no. Honestly, guys, hey, I don't know if you want me to plug my stuff now, Gerald, or not. But
yeah, go ahead. Before I'll give Joe one last rant.
Okay, well, shoot. Look, essentially, NBA season's right around the corner, man. And if you want to stay up to date with everything Lakers related, not only do you come here and check out Lakers Fast Break and check me, Joe, and Gerald out here on the Lakers Fast Break, but also if you want some more Lakers content, check out my Lakers channel, Lakers Corner. It's on YouTube, and my Instagram is at Lakers _ corner. My Twitter is Lakers Corner 2. And then I have another channel. It's called Clutch Talk, and that is a NBA show as a whole, not talking about just Lakers, talking about the league in its entirety. Because not everybody likes the Lakers like us. Some people don't like the Lakers, and they want to hear about other teams. And that's what we do on Clutch Talk. 2 episodes per week. Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Appreciate all you guys. Love all you guys. And yeah, and shout out Serge for dropping my YouTube channel.
Search is the best. Yeah,
Search is the best. Shout out Search, man. Search, you are the best for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, love you guys, man.
Right.
I appreciate you guys.
No worries. Lakers Corner Clutch Talk. Please support him today on those channels. Joe, the good and the bad. Before we head on out, the good is the shirt that you're wearing, the Dodger blue, as they head back home to finish the series and go into the World Series. Starts on Sunday. What do you think the Dodgers need to do to get it done and finish off the Mets on Sunday?
Keep the Mets in the first 5 innings under a couple runs, and this will be a wrap. The Dodgers didn't hit bad tonight.
No, still scored 6 runs.
And it's nice to see. Please, enough of the day games. This is the second day game they decided to pull out of their ass, and it ended up.
Coincidence, huh?
I feel very comfortable going. I think the Dodgers are due to win at home to close the series out. It's been a very long time since they've clinched. Matter of fact, coincidentally, the last time they clinched the NLCS at home was the Mets in 1988. And I'm feeling very confident that they will do that on Sunday. And then we're going to find out very soon that they're going to be meeting the Yankees next Friday, which will be a memorable battle.
Now here comes the bad. Tonight, we did see the lowest of the low as far as the end of the roster guys. I know that a lot of people are making ado about one, LeBron James Jr., because he had his highest scoring output summer league or preseason with 17 points. He was only a minus 37. Did have 3 steals, 4 rebounds, was only 1 of 5 from beyond the arc, but was 7-17 overall. Him, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and also as well Maxwell Lewis. They have been criticized quite a bit on this show, and usually with very good reasons, but a lot of people, in the case of Bronny, a lot of defenders still out there. So what do you say after a night like today where you know the defenders are going to rise up? See, they're not there when he's not doing well. When he embarrasses himself and looks really bad out there, they're nowhere to be found. But when he does well, that one time, just like he did that one summer league game where he scored 13 points, I think, people were coming out of the woodwork. See, we told you. We told you so. We told you so, Joe.
I'm not paying attention to anything that Junior is doing. Really, it doesn't mean anything to me. It'll mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. This preseason game was an absolute embarrassment. To lose by almost 60 points is an embarrassment. You lose by 15, by 20, I can sort of get that. But to allow your team to, it just sets the table wrong. But then again, this was a terrible, terrible, terrible roster. It's a terrible roster. Jalen Hood-Schifino is a horrible NBA player. Maxwell Lewis is worse than Jalen Hood-Schifino. At least Jalen can get some separation every now and then and maybe make a mid-range. It's just they're not good. These guys are not NBA players. They're not. They're there because of their careers in college and they've been drafted, and therefore you're given a chance to see if you can do something. But they're not going to make it out on this team. You know, there was discussions talking about Scottie Pippen Jr. We saw Scottie Pippen Jr. play a couple of years for the Lakers, and I remember vividly. I go, it's not going to work here. But we didn't throw venom at him because it wasn't that he wasn't an NBA player. We just said he wasn't going to work out here. There's a huge difference there. Sometimes certain spots might dictate better place for certain guys. That happens. At least I don't remember saying anything like that. I never said that Scottie Pippen Jr. It wasn't an NBA player. I thought actually he showed some ability. It's just his athleticism and his shooting ability was always going to be an issue. And in a LeBron-centric offense, you have to shoot. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of having anything run the way LeBron needs to run. It's just what it is. But these guys are nowhere near this the guy that's a solid 11, 12 on a roster. These guys don't even belong on a G League, in my opinion. They belong in Europe. They belong not playing anywhere in the NBA. And you're going to see it more and more that it's justified. And the Lakers are going to have to win games with a 7-man roster, really, if they don't make any key transactions. Those are facts. This is not a prediction. You cannot trust Max Christie, JHS, Maxwell Lewis. Can't trust any of these guys to be consistent game in and game out during the year.
So we have it now as the finale for the preseason is the Lakers losing 132-74. Big crowd tonight. Cannot thank you enough for supporting us. If you get a chance, please like on the way out and also subscribe. Get the latest notifications on when we go live, like tomorrow, high noon, when the Lakerholics return for Lakerholic Spotlight. We'll see if we can come together for a late night showing on Sunday. But John, Joe, let me hit up John first. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
No last thoughts. Thankfulness for y'all. Thankfulness for the community. Like I said, man, check me out. All my socials, Lakers Corner, Clutch Talk. But appreciate you guys. And hey, man, I'm excited. Tuesday, first game of the regular season. It'll be big.
We should do something big on Monday. Maybe we should try to do something big on Monday if we have the time and the schedule allows it. So, Joe, you're now the Lakers GM, according to Ralph D. What trade are you going to make?
Ooh,
I would have made the trade after the season was over. I would have sat down with LeBron and said, where do you want to go? And if there's nowhere for him to go, then I tell him I'm going to start bringing in guys that are going to I'm going to restructure this team so that we can start getting ready to start winning on the next phase of this franchise. Who would I trade for right now? It is irrelevant. There's no resource to trade for anybody. So I would have no. If I came in right now as the general manager, I'd have no resource. I'd have no ability to trade for anything without gutting the little depth that you have, and you'd have to give up draft capital that you can't risk in the future should you need them then. And I'm still trying to figure out why anybody would want those picks anyways. Maybe Danny Ainge, because he doesn't do shit other than accumulate draft picks and not win. I don't want that. But I would have started the trade process. I would have started this fiasco that's come upon the Lakers. First of all, it would never happen. Number one, Bronny would never sniffed a draft. That's for sure. Connect would have definitely been picked. That was a good one. But it would have been, look, you want to ball for one more year? I get it. Let's do it. But I got to start thinking about what we need to do after. And then I'll sit down with Anthony Davis as well and say, what do you want to do? You want to go back to Chicago? Or do you want to stay here and be the pillar for the next phase? I'd have to do it right away because he's not young either. He's got maybe 3-4 years left of Anthony Davis ball if he doesn't get hurt. It's hard. It would be hard. It would be something where you got to do what Presti did in Oklahoma City after Durant left. And really it was after Russell Westbrook left too. Once Russell Westbrook left, then you had a full-on rebuild. But he did get some assistance on the idiots in LA, giving him Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for Paul George. That might come down, especially if Oklahoma City wins a championship. That might come down to being one of the dumbest trades by any team of the last since I've been watching basketball.
The Shea and Clippers
Shea
trade?
Gilgeous, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, it not only
Yeah.
brought Paul George to LA, but it brought Kawhi. Not exactly traded, but that was the agreement. That's the way they worked it out, where Kawhi and PG would come together as a package deal after the deal was made. And I mean, the Clippers are still getting hit by it every year for what they did.
This is not, yeah, this was a catastrophic trade for the Clippers. They could have opened up their new arena with a MVP candidate and God knows what else by now. But Ballmer was so enamored of winning right away. And Doc Rivers, I know a lot of people don't like Doc Rivers because he tends to not close series and just whatever. I have personal reasons why I love Doc Rivers now versus what his coaching situation is. But at the same time, he did make the call beforehand that maybe you shouldn't trade Shea Gilgeous. And Ballmer didn't listen. And it napalmed everybody. If Kawhi Leonard had just come to the Lakers, he was guaranteed to win a championship in 2020 and probably would have helped win in 2021. AD probably doesn't exhaust himself in 2021, and they probably make a run and probably win. I know these are all hypotheticals, but the reality is there's a lot of one extra star taking up a lot of the slack really lessens the body on the collective. It really does. It would have lessened the pressure of AD needing to be what he was, because Kawhi was a two-way player too. He's immensely valuable at that point. And then we don't make the Russell Westbrook trade. Let's just say they lose in 2021 because AD got hurt. Let's just say that happens anyways. But I'm very confident that they would have made it to 2022. I'm very confident. And they would have been there for 2023. And then that's when Kawhi started to kind of fall off. But even with that, you would have had Kawhi not have to kill himself either during that time. And maybe he's not as taxed, whereas he was really taxed with the Clippers. When you watched him play coming back from injury, he was phenomenal because he was healthy at that moment. But the wear was just, it would catch up, and then finally at the end of the year, he was done. Bad decision by Kawhi. He could have won probably at least 2 more championships, would have been a Laker legend. Instead now, sure, maybe. I mean, is he really Toronto Raptor legend? Playing 1 year there? Definitely a Spurs legend. But everybody lost in that deal. Everyone lost. Lakers won a little bit because they still won, but lost in that. Had he come to the Lakers, we're likely looking down on the Celtics for titles.
Joe, Intel Wild says the modern day NBA shooting threes and playing zero defense is embarrassing. Appreciate the super chat on that, Intel. And a big shout out to you, Ralph. Gonna be 23 in less than an hour, my friend. Happy birthday. Any thoughts before we end on that?
About Ralph's birthday?
Or Intel Wild super chat?
Let's see here. Modern day NBA shooting threes and playing zero defense is embarrassing. Yeah, it's embarrassing, but Damian Lillard had talked about this in an interview, I think a few years ago, where Portland was trying to run the conventional offense and conventional way of basketball, and it wasn't working. It's a process that everyone has to do now, otherwise they're not going to win. Because if you're scoring 2 points like you used to playing half court, the other team. Let me explain this a little bit more in detail. So let's say you bring the ball up and you play a half court offense to some degree. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to go down low to the big guys. It's just you're playing half court. You've slowed down the pace. You're kind of going with the play clock, and then you take it down to 20 and then shoot, and you make it from 20 feet. That's 2 points. You spent 20 seconds getting those 2 points. Now, the team you're playing against is going to go down real quick, shoot a three within, let's say, 10 to 12 seconds. Then you get the ball back. You do the same thing, except this time you miss. Then they come back within 5 to 7 seconds, shoot another 3, and make it. They just made 6 points when you made 2 in the same amount of time that you were getting a 2. Now, they're not going to make every 3, but during the game, if they hit 2 or 3 of those shots and you're only making 2 here and missing, you start to, if you get that throughout the game where it's working, you're going to find yourself down 8, 9, 12 points all of a sudden. So you have to stay with that pace.
Ralph, you are celebrating in style, my friend, with the lady right beside you, and also 2 burritos, my friend. Rock on, my friend.
However, stay away from Taco Bell, man.
No, his lady. I don't think it's.
Yeah, just stay away from Taco Bell and Del Taco.
His lady just made him 2 burritos.
Good. I didn't know if because I know Ralph.
No, it's not cool, bro. It's not cool, bro.
I know. Ralph likes to eat Taco Bell. Stay away from that. That's not even real food.
Okay, all right.
The NBA has created this because it also masks the deficiency in talent. Because every NBA player that is a regular can play. And if all they got to do is be lazy on defense most of the time and just shoot threes, you can mask a lot of their deficiencies by running back and forth real quick. That's why J.J. Redick's offense is going to be predicated on doing the same thing because he needs to hide the deficiency in talent.
So before we head on out, you got one last super chat by 7 Grant. Thank you, Seven
Exactly,
Grant.
and that's my point, Ralph. You spend way too much time in the toilet because you eat that shit. Don't eat that stuff. Stick to the. If you're gonna eat fast food, eat something that's somewhat like In-N-Out burger or something. At least it's fresh.
All right, 7 Grant and the super chat. Thank you again to both you and Intel for the super chats. He says, "Who makes the best cars?"
It was a line. It was a line 3 hours ago over there. When I was
Taco Bell.
I'm sorry, 4 hours ago.
At Taco Bell.
Yeah. Like what are you doing? Oh, and the other thing is, I had a little bit of a feeling to eat Wingstop. My wife did an order. It was $40 for 3 meals. She said, "Really? Am I going to pay $40 for this?" I'm like, "No. We're gonna go get food at the market and let's just eat at home. We'll cook something up." Ugh. Oh my God, Jack in the Box is even worse. I had a Jumbo Jack about 15 years ago. It was the only place that was close after I got out of a job interview. And the lettuce looked like boiled cabbage. That was the last time I ever ate at Jack in the Box. I'm sorry, that's not true. That's the last time I ate food at Jack in the Box. I did have what they have the best cookies and cream shake. I haven't drank it in a decade, but at that time, that was the only thing I liked there.
All right, John is back for
real quick. I gotta jump in here. Joe. Joe, don't you dare diss Jack in the Box. That is the best fast food place out of all the fast food is not good in general. But if I'm gonna have fast food, I'm not going to McDonald's.
Jock, are you gonna make me come to Pittsburgh right now?
Joe, come to Pittsburgh, Joe. We'll go to Jack in the Box together.
There's no such thing as the best fast food. Fast food is trash.
Yes, I agree. Look, we can agree.
And Jack in the Box is on the top of that.
Yes, Jack in the Box.
Except their Oreo shake.
Look, Jay's got it right. Jack in the Box late night hits different. They used to have a munchie meal after 9 p.m.
I'm not talking about when you're young. See, you're 25. I get it. We were eating Jack in the Box and Los Panchos in college after we got sloshed. That's the best food on the planet to eat.
Best.
But when you become an adult, you can't eat that stuff.
I haven't had it in a long time.
Can't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
I go way back to when Jack in the Box used to have the best tacos, like you guys said, but I go way back to when they had frings, which they had together was onion rings, and French fries in one bag.
See?
So.
The munchie, that's what I'm saying. The munchie meal used to be literally $6 after 9 p.m. and you would get a burger, exactly what you just said. So they would throw in some French fries and some curly fries in there, 2 tacos, and a drink. And I used to replace the drink with a strawberry milkshake. Ooh.
And on that
Yeah.
note,
I can't take that. My stomach can't take that anymore, though.
And Chipotle is garbage.
Ooh. Yeah.
They've gone.
Yeah, they've gone. When they started really good, though.
They started really well until they started putting salmonella in their food.
Yeah.
But, all right. I'm not going to argue with that. Rubio's, would you say Rubio's is bad?
You know what was my favorite taco chain place back in the day? Was Baja Fresh.
Yes.
Best the gallo I ever. And
yes.
Yeah.
I used to have other fish burritos, but they it was a franchisee owner. He owned like 7 of them in Las Vegas. They had to close 6 of them. They only left 1 open on the other side of town, so I never go. So
the other place that was the best, and then they went down to this trash, is Panera. Oh my God, Panera in the late 2000s was the shit.
Their soups and shit. Everybody was having soups. I still like their loaded bacon soup.
It was awesome. They had this Chipotle chicken sandwich that they discontinued for some weird reason, and then they screwed it up by putting something else together with fucking avocado and completely destroyed the taste of the sandwich. The obsession with avocado and everything. What is it with people and avocado? What the most overrated delicacy on this?
Agreed.
In this food. I'm not saying it tastes bad, but what is it with avocado? Everybody puts avocado on everything. Why?
No, I'm saying it tastes bad.
Avocado and eggs is perfect. That's it. Everything else, I don't know. I don't even taste it when I'm eating it with anything.
$7,000 in the chat, super chat. Thank you so much. And I got yours too coming up, Intel Wild. Who makes the best cars? USA, Germany, or Japan? The guys have been throwing Italy as well.
But the Toyota trucks are starting to go downhill.
I've got a Honda and a Nissan, so I got to think my
I got a Honda, no Chevy.
Yeah.
It's because they're all starting to get computerized, and it becomes more likely that they're gonna fail somewhere.
And last but certainly not least, Intel Wild, thank you again for the super chat. Says, how have we gotten ourselves into this situation?
Ask Rob and Jeannie. They're the ones that make the calls.
Mismanagement at its finest.
I wouldn't say it's mismanaged. I'd say it's stupidity.
Oh, I'd say it's mismanaged. Oh, well, you say it's stupidity? All right.
Mismanaged is taking is doing the job with a focus and screwing up. That's mismanaged. Jeannie's just not smart enough to do this job. And Rob is an agent. He doesn't belong doing this. You don't believe me? Go ask Magic in private what he thinks about Rob Pelinka. I don't care about this they made amends bullshit. Go talk to Magic. You already let the cat out of the bag there. Go talk to Magic and let him tell you in private. And Magic would tell you because he's that kind of guy. I met Magic for a brief amount of time. I looked straight in his eyes. That is the most genuine man with the greatest smile I've ever seen. I've ever in the world. And he's Magic is a beacon of life, goodness. So I bet you he would tell you that with a little flair. I bet you he'd be like, fuck that motherfucker.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers lose 132-74. We'll be back tomorrow for the Lakerholics. Let's see how many times Laker Tom yells at me. I guess I'm hosting again. And let's see what goes on. Michael will also be there as well. Always a pleasure to have him on. And then, of course, Sunday night, we'll see what happens. Will Joe's Dodgers make it to the World Series? We'll talk about that, plus some final thoughts on the Lakers. And then on Monday, I don't know how long it's going to last, but we'll try a season preview extravaganza on Monday. as well. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Xbox, but Gerald, at least they minus you up to. Oh, it's talking about the Big Mac and with meat and without meat, because they do a chicken Big Mac as well now.
It's not really a Big Mac. It's a chode Mac now.
The Chode Mac. Okay.
Chode Mac. Wow.
Hey, they've been talking about it. The Big Macs used to look like this. Now they look like this.
All right. It is, of course, the Lakers.
You remember that story, right, Gerald? I told you that story in 1996 or 95 when I went to McDonald's. For those of you who didn't hear it, I'll say it real quick. They had the 2-for-1 Big Mac meal. So after the football games, we'd go to McDonald's or wherever to eat. I ordered it. I remember I looked at it. I was like, this looks small. And then when the deal went away, it still was small. So those fuckers made it small when they had the 2. And then when they got rid of the deal, they left it that small. So they manipulated everybody. That was the first trick that I caught in marketing and these corporate pieces of shit as an 18-year-old.
Thank you so much, Intel. You're the best, my friend. Truly appreciate it. JY says we need to have a show on Jeannie. She's under the radar. I think you just want to hear Joe rant a little bit more.
Who?
If we did a show on Jeannie.
The only reason why I don't really go off on her is because she's Dr. Buss's daughter, and I'm trying to keep it to as much as I can, keep it to the Laker thing. I don't feel too bad about saying that she's not a good owner. She's a terrible owner. It's nothing you can hide there. She's horrible. But I don't want to it's going to sound personal if I go any further, because it starts to get to the Jerry West thing and what really kind of tipped that over, and the fact.
What did we see on the court tonight in San Francisco in the Chase Center?
We saw Jerry West's name on the court. Now, the crypto. I still can't call it the Kobe Center. I'm going to start calling it the Kobe Center because no one's going to argue against that. The Kobe Center is being renovated. My guess is if they weren't planning to do that, now they are, because they look like idiots. So they're going to probably do it so they don't look like morons. They already looked like morons putting the font -2 on the jersey next to that high sodium piece of shit advertisement that they have on there.
Bibico.
Yeah. So what are they going to do? They're going to put the 44 behind the backboard so that they can have the ceiling camera see it so that they can advertise. I'll stick to basketball if you want me to rant on Jeannie. However, it'll be better when we see the results of what this team is going to be in the next month or two. Because then the ammo will be at its highest.
7 and Darren, come on. Let's just try to get along. I know you guys are having their disagreements and you've been having it for quite some time. Come on, let's all try to be good to each other here.
Let's create havoc, folks.
There you go. Keeper of the peace indeed. Lakers lose tonight.
We spend all our other times off this show being fake, decent people. Sometimes you just need a place where you can just be an asshole.
Well, I appreciate everything that you both do as far as contribute to the show. Darren and 7. Joe, shut up. I'll leave it at that. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll have
Gerald's the kind of guy where the world's going to be coming to an end, and he'll still say, "Hey, we appreciate the world being here for 14 billion years. It's time to go."
Thanks so much again for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow for the Lakerholics, and we'll see you about Sunday. Definitely Monday for a season preview. All coming up for you right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone, and be safe.
We'll find out, JY. My guess is they probably saw that and said, oh shit, we need to do that now.